Hey good people, welcome back to Beauty and the Frizz. My name is Cara. Whether you're new or returning, thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me for another one today. Today I'm doing another makeup goals get ready with me where I go into my basket of things I wanted to use for this month and just get ready and create a look. So if that sounds good, keep watching this video. Let me know what you think. And if makeup is your therapy and your love, if it makes you happy and you want to hang out with those who feel the same way, definitely consider joining the community. I'd love to have you back. All right, let's get started. So how are you? I'm good. What did I do today? Got up, I walked on my walking pad because it is too hot to walk outside. I did purchase a walking pad from Amazon. So I really want to get 20,000 steps a day. It's very ambitious, but I feel like if I shoot for that, I'm gonna at least get above 10,000. That's how it is. It's like that. What did they say? If you shoot for the moon, you may land on the stars or something like that. That's my vision. So that's what I did today. I did a little weights workout, and I started watching The Housewives of Dubai season 1. So let me know if you watch that, and let me know how you're doing in the comment section or the chat. I also did go outside and spray some weeds. I'm not sure. I have one of those weed killers that hooks up to the hose. And I don't know, I'm not sure if I did it right, but we gonna see when I go out there if it looks like these weeds are dying. So yeah, let me know how you're doing and let's get to the video. So I do have some mini goals for the rest of this month for makeup items that I want to use. Some of the items are newer in my collection, some are old, and actually everything that I am using, I didn't even mention in this video, but I am really making it my business to go through this makeup, you guys. I was talking in another video about wanting to go on a no-buy. I don't necessarily feel the need to make that declaration at all, but I went ahead in that direction because I was looking at Jamie's page, the new makeup releases, and you know, I do my makeup releases video every week, and I'm just not feeling moved by much. And as I continue to go in my collection and try to pull out different things that I haven't used in a while or that I haven't used at all, I'm just realizing I have a lot of gems in my collection, and I know you do too. So this video isn't to encourage you to buy any of the products that I'm using. It's just to encourage you to go through your products and see what you have. You might have some of these and just pull them out and give them a try, because what I am really understanding is that, and it's a very simple concept, all of the things we bought were once sought after items, and they lose their hype and their excitement very easily. Well, I'm speaking for myself right now because there's always something else coming out, and I want to get to the point where I'm disciplined enough to look at new makeup releases and admire them from afar if it's not something that really moves me or that I really need. The reality is that this is a hobby, so I am going to purchase some things that I don't need because I really love this. This is so therapeutic for me, but I am at the point where my collection is overwhelming me, giving me some anxiety and even some guilt for throwing things aside and not using them and getting something else. So that's where I am. Now let's get into it. Usually when I start my makeup off, I use my same color corrector, which is the Huda Beauty Cherry Blossom, and my Natasha Denona concealer. But today I'm gonna do something a little bit different because there's only been so many times I'm gonna keep showing y'all that. So I do have the Huda Beauty color corrector, and this one is the dark one in Lychee, and I have the Huda Beauty concealer. This one's in Granola, so this is 4.5, it looks like. 4.5G, I think that's what it says. So I have used this recently, not on camera, but I haven't used this one since I did my video about the color correctors and the peach pie powder. So I want to see how I feel about this concealer now that it's months later. It wasn't a concealer that I needed to purchase at the time, obviously. So let's just check it out. We'll start with this Lychee color corrector. Now, Lychee is a bit dark, and I think my go-to or my ideal would be to mix the two together but have more of the cherry blossom. So I'm just gonna see how this looks. We're gonna see, it might be a mess, I don't know, but it is dark and I only need a little bit. But it's actually almost the same tone as the Natasha Denona color corrector in tan. Not the same tone, the same depth, not the same tone at all, because that one's tan. So I'm only gonna use a little bit because I don't need much of it at all. I'm just gonna use my little sponge and diffuse this out. I definitely think this one would be really good for my sister. It all turns out okay, but my sister is deeper than me, and I think this would be a really good shade for Ariel. But we're gonna use it today and see how it goes. Now, the other things I have on my face, I do have on my Kiehl's sunscreen, and I use the Kiehl's, one of the hydrating facial creams. I did do my eyebrows today with my same products. I used the Patrick Ta Major Brow Lamination Gel. I used the NYX Lift and Snatch and the Charlotte Tilbury Legendary Brows. No Maybelline today because I can't find it. So that's what the color corrector looks like. And we're gonna go over top with the concealer. I do think the granola shade for this concealer is a good match for me. It doesn't have the rosy undertone that the Natasha Denona has, but it's still a good shade match. So here's what we have so far, and I think it looks great with the color corrector underneath. And even though the granola doesn't have that rosy undertone, I think using lychee still gives you that peachy flush just a little bit. So I am okay with how this looks. This looks really good. I am gonna wear foundation today, and lately I haven't really been wearing foundation. I've just been doing concealer and just spot concealing or just using my sunscreen. But today I'm gonna use my Hourglass foundation. Now I have this in two shades. I have 10.5, which is this one, and 11. 11 is the first one I bought, and I felt like it was a smidge too deep, and then I went ahead and bought 10.5. So let me just show you what that looks like. In this Hourglass foundation, I'm bringing this out because this was like my favorite foundation last year. I thought this was so great. I thought that a little bit went a really long way. So I'm just gonna show you what 11 looks like first. And 11 is probably good right now because I think I am a little deeper because I'm outside a lot. So that's 11, but I think during the winter months, the drier months, this is a bit deep for me. And I'm not sure if that's the correct undertone. I really don't know. Now I'm gonna show you 10.5 right next to it. 10.5 might not be right either, I don't know. See, I think 10.5 is the better undertone. This one is, I don't know. To me, it looks almost a little olivey, whereas this one is a little more of a neutral tone. I just think it matches better. But if I mix the two, the finish is fine. So I'm gonna grab my BK Beauty 101 brush and some setting spray, and we're gonna blend this in. So together they look great, and that's most likely the way that I will be using this foundation from now on, just because I do feel like 11 is a little off, but the blend together I think looks great. So I'm just taking 10.5. I'm just putting a little bit on the back of my wrist, or hand for that matter. And yes, y'all, you know I'm still thinking about the Hourglass blushes, so don't ask. Have not pushed the button on them, and I'm trying not to because I really think I'd rather pay to get them when they're 20% off. So I'm hoping to wait for the Sephora sale or some type of sale. If they come to Ulta, you know, sometimes Ulta has those 20% off sales, and they include the prestige brands. So I would prefer to get them 20% off. So that's my goal. There's two shades I want. One is like a beige nude, and the other one is a true rose. But I love the finish of the Hourglass foundation. And this does give me a little color because, you know, I be pale. I don't know, I feel like it looks a little yellow, but it's fine. It's all good. As long as it matches my neck, I'm good. So now I'm gonna go into my peach powder, and I do like this Huda Beauty concealer. I think it looks good. So I need to put that in the rotation a little bit more instead of just using the Natasha Denona all the time. I need to switch it up. I also have the Fenty concealer, so maybe that's one I'll use. So I'm just taking my peach pie powder, and I'm just gonna do my under eye area. And just an update, I did get that new NARS powder, the purple one, and I do think that, and one of you mentioned that it gave kind of a gray ashy cast, and I do agree with that. So that's very unfortunate. And it's also unfortunate because I didn't need the powder in the first place. So I might sell it, you know, or see if there's somebody else. I just don't know anybody else, like in my makeup life or in my life, my real life, that would use that color. So I might just sell it, or I don't know. I don't know what I'll do with it, but figure out something. All right, so that looks good. Now we are gonna move on to bronzer, and I have a treat. Well, a treat for me. This is my very first bronzer from Fenty Beauty, and it's in the shade Beijing Gal. Yes, very first bronzer in life. So we're just gonna see how she's doing. This is a warmer bronzy color on me. And let's just get a brush. I was looking for my Bristles Beauty bronzing brush, but I can't find it. I have the blush one here, but oh well. We're gonna use the Sonia G Niji Pro for this one. And let's see how she's doing. Try not to pick up too much. Oh, there she is. There she is. Because this is like a reddish bronze. And I like it. I feel like it gives you that sun-kissed type of bronze. Let's try it on this side. See. Yeah, there it is. I'm just bringing it down. I don't want it to be too sharp. Like, I'm not trying to contour. I'm just trying to bronze. You can see it there. All right, that works. And that's the thing, like, how many bronzers does one need? Because I know I have like 7. We're going into a new blush today. This is the NYX Buttermelt Blush in this shade For the Butter. I've already used my other 2 shades, which was the tangerine one, and then the other one was like a real cool pink. And I will show those because I didn't film with those, but I will show those in my roundup because I did take some pictures. So we're gonna go ahead and try this one, For the Butter. This is a soft mauve. And even though this one's not a shimmering one, it's more radiant, I would say, than anything, than just a basic matte. So I'm gonna take my Bristles Beauty brush. This blush, oh my gosh, is pigmented, like really, really pigmented. So you have to kind of go in easy and then build the color up. I think this is a really pretty color. Like, I'm not disappointed with these blushes at all. And it almost makes me want to get more, but I'm just like, no, just right now, just be okay with these. This is a really pretty color, soft mauve. And you see that finish is really nice. I think that the finish of the blush is also helped out by the foundation, because the Hourglass foundation is a ambient soft glow, and you know, Hourglass has that ambient finish. And I love this brush so much. Okay, I love my Bristles Beauty brushes. They're really good. They're natural brushes. So yeah, I think that looks nice, that color. So next I'm actually gonna go into the lips before I figure out my eye look. And for lips today, I'm going to be using the Lisa Eldridge lip pencil in Sorcery. And I'm gonna be using one of my Scooby-Doo lipsticks that I didn't end up using last month. That was in my goals video. And this one is Rara lipstick. I don't think that's what it says. And this is a really pretty nude color. So let's get that on. I am excited to try the Glam Light lipstick formula. I feel like I have tried it before, but I don't remember. So this will be almost like a first time feel. I think Sorcery is a really good basic brown that can go with a lot of nude shades. Oh yes, you know, this is my type of color right here. I like the almost foundation lip colors. And these don't really have too much of a smell. It feels comfortable on the lips. And it's not super satiny and it's not matte. It's like a really good, I mean, it is a satin, but to me, it's a little drier than a satin, but it's not as dry as a matte. But the finish to me, I don't know. It's not matte, but it's almost matte. The finish is almost matte. All right. So with that, we are now gonna go into an eye look. So I'm gonna pick out one of the palettes that was in my goals basket for the month, and I'm gonna get my primer. So the palette that I'm choosing to use is my Melt Cosmetics Brunette palette, and I'm gonna be using my About Face eyeshadow primer, which is pretty much the standard primer that I've been using lately. I did find my NARS primer. I had lost my NARS primer for like a long time, but now I can't find it again. But I did find that, so I'm gonna put that in the rotation, but I have to find it again. The About Face primer has worked pretty well for me, so I would have to do some comparing to see if I like the NARS better, especially since I haven't used it in so long. So my Melt Brunette palette has been altered because I did take out the shade Suede and Buff, and I put in 2 shades from the Gemini 2 palette, Sweetheart and Gemelas. And I have worn this already, but I think I'm gonna focus on this side. I really wanna use this shade. So let's try this out. I am gonna take the Sonia G Classic Crease Brush. I would like to go into Cork first, and then I'm gonna go into Tan. That's the plan. And I'm using Cork almost as a shade to just set down the primer, and I'll be using that as my blend out shade, and you can see it just a little bit. I think the issue that I had with the Brunette palette was it didn't need Suede and Buff, especially if you have a medium to deep skin tone, and I'm light medium. I even felt like I didn't need those shades to the point where I could have just kept one of them, but I ended up throwing both of them away, and that's before I was using shades to blend out other shades. It just didn't need both of them. And the issue with the Gemini 2 palette from Melt was that these reds, even though when I swatched them, they look different, on my eyes, they look the same, but these two do look different. Actually, this one is almost a built-up version of this one, but I had trouble with that palette, and I was so happy for it to come out, but I had so much trouble getting a variety of looks. And I know other people didn't, so it might have been my own undertone that impacted that. So that is what Cork looks like. And now I'm gonna go into Tan, and I'm just going to be putting that in the crease and the outer corner. I'm just gonna give that eye look a little bit of depth. I'm actually gonna put it all over the lid. I've been so happy doing my eyes like this, just having that brown and really accentuating my base, like just making sure my base looks nice, but then like having a really nice cheek color or a different lip color. I've really been having fun that way. I think that my focus on eyeshadow just over time, when I look back, every video was a new palette, and I know there are a lot of people that still do that, but I just can't anymore. I just can't. I have so many great shadows, and there's so many that are they're literally just sitting there like, use me. And I'm just like, yeah, I got too much. All right. I really think, I kind of want to use Stout now over Bourbon. Like Bourbon's the more exciting shade, but Stout, I'm feeling Stout because I think it goes so nicely with the browns. I might put a little bit of Bourbon on top though. Let's see. Not sure how that would look. This keeps it really monochromatic if you're going that route. But I'm gonna put Bourbon on top. This is Stout. I'm gonna put Bourbon on top. But just if you wanted something really simple and kind of one note, because you can barely even tell. I mean, you can see the shimmer, but let's just take Bourbon and see what happens if we put Bourbon on top. Maybe it'll warm it up a little bit and be a little more poppy. maybe just a little bit. This shade does feel like it's hard pan. Actually, so does Stout and so does Musk, but they seem to be performing okay. Yeah, this is very simple, very easy look. Probably didn't need to put Stout on at all, actually. Should have went with my gut, but I just wasn't sure. And for the under eye, I'm gonna go into tan with a pencil brush. Keep it close to the lashes. And we do need an inner corner highlight, and I'm actually not feeling anything from this palette. So I do have this Orgasm X Trio palette. This is like really old. And I'm just gonna take the highlight shade and put it right here. I think this is brighter than Musk, which is in the brunette palette. And I love this blush trio. I mean, this is, like I said, 2020, I think is when I got it. Now for eyeliner, I am definitely, if I have it in front of me, I'm gonna use one of my Melt liners. So this is Rich Brown. I think the only shade I don't have is Cocoa, but I want Melt to come out with more of these because they're really nice. And they just glide on so easy. You don't have to pull your lid out. You don't have to tug. You don't have to do anything. And it stays right in that waterline. If they could come out with some like fun colors, I would get all of them. I did get these for $5 though, which was great. And lastly, I'm gonna finish up this eye look by using my L'Oreal Panoramic Mascara in Black Brown. And I think I told you guys how I'm really enjoying the Black Brown mascara over straight black. Just trying to find ways to open up my eyes a little more. But I think the Black Brown is just more of a natural color. I don't necessarily think that the mascara makes my eyes look smaller, but I definitely think the eyeliner, if I use black eyeliner, so I no longer use black eyeliner because it does make my eyes small, and my eyes are already, you know, like smaller. All right, so here is today's look. I'm not really doing much. I gotta go pick Marky up from my sister's house. And that's it. I might do some other filming, but that's today's look. So let me know what you think. I think it came out great. Let me just give you my final thoughts on the products that I pulled out today. I do think that this is a nice concealer. I didn't dislike it last time, but you know how sometimes you just get into a rut of using the same things over and over again. And the Natasha Denona concealer has been like my go-to. And then second to that is the Dior. So I wasn't really giving this one much of a chance, so I'm glad that I brought this one out because I think it looks great and I think it looks fabulous over the Lychee color corrector. I just know with this one I only need a dot under each eye, and I think that gave me that kind of rosier under eye that I really like. So I'm still glad to have those in my collection. The Peach Pie Powder is still a win. I do have a full size of this that I haven't opened yet, but I'm gonna keep using my travel size. I really like this a lot. I've been alternating this with the Cial powder. The Cial powder does have SPF in it, so I did use that in another video, and I have been using that a lot. So really still happy to have the Peach Pie Powder. Next, I went into my very first bronzer, which was the Fenty Beauty Sunstalker Bronzer in Beijing Gal. And I love that. I have a little bit of pan here. This bronzer is 4 years old. I think it looks great. I like the tone. Again, it's a reddish undertone, more warm than neutral, but I really still like it. And I'm glad to have that in my collection. It's gonna stay. The blush. Buttermelt blush from NYX. Love this color. I think it looks gorgeous, so not mad at it. Love the finish of it. I think it's really beautiful. This soft mauve is really pretty, so happy with that. Then I did my lip. I love this lip shade. This looks really great. I did talk about how I lost my Chanel lipstick in the shade Adrian, and this is an Adrian shade. It's very close, so I can hold off on repurchasing Adrian. I really like how this lipstick feels. It almost feels like, it doesn't smell like it, but it feels like there's like maybe some type of shea butter or something in it. I'm not really sure, but it feels really moisturizing. even though it might be a little drier than a satiny, like straight satin lipstick, but it feels really good. So I'm glad I'm using this, because I was like, with the Scooby-Doo stuff, I've sold all of my Scooby-Doo palettes. I just sold the last big one, but I'm gonna keep the lip products. And I'm always like, do I really want to use like the Scooby-Doo, you know, these themed makeup items? The answer is no, but I'm more inclined to use the lipstick, and especially if it's a color like this. So I'm glad I have this one to use. I didn't talk about the Hourglass foundation. That's not really new, but I love the foundation, but I love the finish of this foundation. Again, 10.5 is really my color over the 11, but mixing them, I think, works very well for my complexion, and it does give that like that natural radiance, that ambient kind of hourglass look. So happy with that. And then what did we do? Oh, we did the eyeshadow look with the brunette palette, my upgraded brunette palette. I think this palette's fine. You know, melt, again, inconsistent with the eyeshadow palettes for me, but this was just really easy to create, like just some contour on the eyes and just a little bit of shimmer. I do love that I added these 2 shades in, so you know, I'll have to experiment with some looks adding that in. And I think that's it, right? The melt crayon is awesome. I've been using the L'Oreal Panoramic Mascara for a few weeks now, and I think that looks great too. So let me know what you think about this look. I think it's just a real easy, basic look that if you wanted to dress it up for nighttime, you could take maybe this deeper shade, this tan, or I'm sorry, brunette shade here, and really smoke it out and leave everything else the same. Like, that's what I would do, because I still love wearing nude lips. Maybe you could turn up the blush a little bit if you wanted to, because the blush is really a standout for me in this look. So I'm really happy with it, and I'm happy with the products. I don't have any regrets, makeup regrets in this video like I did with the last one. So let me know your thoughts. Let me know how you're doing. And a lot of you have said that you are enjoying going through your collection. So let me know some of your favorites that you've been using and that you've pulled out. Thank you so much for taking out some of your time and hanging out with me for another one today. I hope this was therapy for you. And you know what always is for me. Until I see you again, make sure you're being gentle with yourself. Talk to yourself nice, stay safe. And you know I will see y'all really soon. Bye.